Hello, colleagues. I hope everyone is doing well. This is Taren. The video that I chose is called Teacher's Role in Inquiry-Based Learning by Scott Crombie. And the big idea of this video was inquiry-based learning. And inquiry-based learning answers the question, how do we get students at the center of the classroom? The teaching model answers this question by saying, let's create activities and opportunities for students to have space to explore and research the topic or concept and allow students to form their own conceptual understanding of this practice by researching and collaborating with others. Now, for connections to learning, already I've mentioned that inquiry-based learning develops student research skills and collaboration skills. Naturally, students are developing their thinking skills as well, since they're in an environment where questions are open-ended and they must go through the learning process independently, so to speak, with teacher guidance as needed. And I'll get into that in a little bit when I talk about connections to teaching. As a result, to students having questions and doing this independently, they will face roadblocks in the learning process. So students must be able to communicate what they know and what they don't know. When they are confused, they need to be able to articulate that in some way, or be able to articulate what the process has looked like for them so far, so that the teacher or others that they're collaborating with might be able to assist them to get them out of the roadblock. Communication skills are being indirectly developed in that way. Also, for the communication skill of listening, being able to listen to the teacher and their questions as the teacher is asking them questions to help develop an attempt to navigate the student's thinking, help the student understand where they may have went wrong, where there might be some disconnect conceptually, and so the student needs to be able to listen to the questions and be able to start thinking for themselves and maybe articulate that aloud to help the teacher better suit their situation, where they are. Self-management skills are definitely a demand for students to successfully participate in inquiry-based learning. This skill is developed through teacher facilitation and gradual release of teacher dependence, especially at the beginning of inquiry-based learning when that is first being introduced. That is, gradual release of teacher dependence is very necessary because it could be very stunning for the students to be doing a lot of independent research or collaboration with their peers, and having it be less teacher directed is definitely the goal for inquiry-based learning. And some examples of providing structure for structure or for gradual release is structured inquiry approaches or conceptual framework to research. And some connections to teaching in the video are that it's clear that inquiry is a basis for this model. Consequently, those who implement this model must ask open-ended questions to encourage inquiry from students, and this increases their conceptual understanding of the topic. Individually, having students on their own begin to form an understanding by themselves through this experience of research and failing and then starting back over. A benefit of IBL is its focus on conceptual understanding. Instead of just teaching a concept outright to students, they have an opportunity for students to, like I said, formulate their own understanding and draw their own conclusions, which I think is amazing. To prepare students for success, this model seeks to differentiate, and there is another connection to approaches to teaching, is this model wants to differentiate and scaffold the learning opportunity or activity by encouraging the teacher to prepare for roadblocks in learning through supplemental activities, scaffolds, helpful questions to assist student research and forming understanding. Some connections to the IB learner profile is our students are being inquirers. They have to inquire on their own, and they have to be thinkers. They're using their thinking skills. They have to be open-minded because the answers may be very different than what they initially would have thought of, or they might have to use different skills that they've learned that they wouldn't have thought would apply, but they actually do. The students need to be reflective. They need to be able to understand. They need to see what worked, what didn't, and what might be able to work, and give a forecast for what their future step would be, which also makes a connection for self-management, being able to see all of the process, the work that they've done so far, and then prepare for what's next. Then lastly, I would say that risk takers is the big one for the connection with the IB learning profile. Students just need to be able to take risks in their learning and be willing to fail. And that is something that is definitely developed through this inquiry-based learning model and through the video. And some examples in the classroom of when I would use this would be, or how I would use this, is I may show the beginning of a problem, and I might show how it is beginning to be worked out, and then I would present it to the students and have them figure out how to solve this, how to solve this problem, how to solve this word problem, this scenario, and be able to work in teams or sometimes independently as well. I think the helpful questions for these would be, are there any patterns? What do you notice? What do you know? And then have the students begin to think about some skills that they know that might actually be able to help them get out of this scenario. Thank you all for listening. Have a good one.